confuses me, because it's not playtime. I guess it's like time. Well, let's just pick up from where the actual save was, because I remember saving physically. Okay. So... God, where were we? Oh, right, I went back to go talk to Charlie for the Achievo. I don't think I've actually gotten it yet. Emma, feel free to take a look around. Oh, right, I need to examine the scene. Current theory is that... there you go, court record. There we go. Current theory that police are saying is that Drew, Misham, I don't know what the pun for Misham is yet, was killed by Vera Misham. Vera Misham? I don't know what that means. That feels like a pun. That feels like it means something. But I do not yet know. But yeah, this case I do not know at all, so I'm going to try to play it honestly, instead of just kind of rocketing past, like all the others. So this might take a little longer, but that's fine. Ah, that's the victim's coffee mug. Aha! So the poison was in here? This is my first time seeing a real poison mug of coffee. I would hope so. What was that sound? That was a weird sound. Poison coffee? Not exactly, actually. Ooh, what do you mean? No traces of poison were found in the coffee. What? You'll have to figure out the rest yourself. I'm officially not on your side, after all. I mean, technically, you're still supposed to share all the evidence with me, but that's American law, and we're only in America, not America. Apollo! That's where the body was! That's the spot where Mr. Drew Misham passed away. He put the coffee mug to his lips, and the next moment... there was quite a bit of paint on the ground. See that half-painted painting there? He must have been working on that right up to the moment he died. Wow! A true artist to the end. Or maybe he started it a year ago and was procrastinating. I think this is the one. Yeah, 'cause it's got paint all over it. I wouldn't mind taking a closer look at those paintings. I just love oils, you know how they're so thick? Is that the word? These paintings are all dry. I'm just surprised at how different these all are. That's true, it's very different styles. Yeah, and what's going on with this half-finished one? It must have been a work in progress. You can still see the rough sketches below. That's so weird. The sketch part doesn't really fit the finished part. Oh, I think the top left is what they're talking about. I noticed. That is weird. Anything I'm missing? Apollo, that's where the body was! At the spot where Mr. Drew Misham passed away. He put the coffee mug... Oh yeah, I read this. Oh, another cup. I imagine this coffee cup was for guests to use. Guests? Did the police already analyze this cup too? Not a trace of poison was found in that cup. So the killer was after Drew Misham alone. Wait, but you said there was no poison in this one either. The letterbox looks funny sitting in a room like this. Let's take a look. Empty. The other half of that letterbox is actually connected to the outside of the studio. Mr. Misham put his letters in there, and the postman took them away. Impressive that someone still writes letters in this day and age. Or wrote, rather. Hey, there's a painting hidden back here. Hey, you're right. What if it's embarrassing somehow, and you didn't want anyone to see it? You certainly seem pleased by that possibility. Huh? It's so normal. I'm normal. That's hardly something to get mad about. Huh? What is it, Apollo? Well, doesn't this painting look like... Never mind. I mean, I'd better get a professional opinion on this. I mean, like, I don't think you'd need a professional to just say, hey, these two paintings look the same. Ooh, there's another half of the room. Hey, it's these dolls that people use for references that no one actually uses. Let's go. Take a closer look at the desk here. Guys, it's a Gestrel from Expedition 333. It's a Gestrel. Okay. Huh? Something about the way that figure is posed. I've seen that pose before. It's you, Apollo. See, you're making one of those flamboyant gestures. Please, I'm a professional. Professionally flamboyant, but a professional. I wonder why it's posed like that. Coincidence? So this is Drew Misham. And this little girl must be Vera. Yes, looks like that... Yes, they took that some years ago. They look close. A happy little family. Until you arrested his daughter. Look, I was personally against that, okay? She just didn't seem very suspicious, scientifically speaking. Uh-huh, right. Apollo's honestly a lot sassier than I would expect. Like, he gets a lot of, this bitch energy. Which is like, he seems like such a plucky little guy. I'm like, no. I'm sassy and tired of people's shit, is what Apollo's energy is, weirdly enough. Oh, cute, look at the tiny frame, Apollo. Tiny is right. That thing's barely 2 inches high. What picture would fit in that? None, apparently. It's empty. There's no glass in it either. What's it doing sitting on the desk? This is a lesson for us all. Be sure to check the size when you buy frames. I do have some posters that I need to frame, and I need to check sizes. Is this a journal? Wow, talk about a clue. Let's read it. But what is it, Apollo? He didn't write the name of the killer, did he? It's new. He didn't write a single line. You had me going for a while there. Hey, Apollo, what's this feathery thing? Isn't that a pen? Like an old-fashioned quill pen. But it doesn't have a pointy end. That's most likely for sweeping detritus off the desk. Wow, you sure know a lot, Emma. Bold and scientific. That's my motto. Exactly what about that was bold or scientific? Ooh, open desk. This envelope has been opened and resealed. Ooh, I know how to do that. You take a pot of boiling water and hold the envelope up to the steam. The glue melts and it opens. Cool, huh? Whoever did this wasn't so delicate. You're right. Looks like they just ripped it up and stuck it back together. Huh? The postmark on this letter, it's from 7 years ago. That's like 12 years ago. Why would someone open a letter, then seal it again? Huh, I'd better hang on to this. Okay, that's the information from now. Look at all these paints, Apollo. There's so many. He's got like 20 kinds of red. We could repaint your suit, Apollo. How about this shade of green? That'll be enough of that, thanks. Hook. What is all this equipment here for? Doesn't look very artistic, really. He had everything from a lathe to a laser cutter. It looks like he was ready to work on metals and wood, too. Though his equipment's a bit old, to tell the truth. Why would a painter need all this? From the dust, I'd say he hasn't used this stuff for years. This corner doesn't fit the rest of the studio. Oh, do you think I could borrow this? I want to cut a quarter in half and make a trick coin. This is a crime scene, Trucy. But These cost like $50 at the magic shop. It's highway robbery. Is this desk for painting too, Apollo? That would be a drafting table. Drafting? Basically, it's a tool for making precise diagrams. Wow, painting is harder than I thought. Why would a painter need a drafting table? Was he an architect too? So, the man liked his mediums. Let's look at the quote record. We're doing this honestly right now. What have I gotten so far? Nothing. Oh, I got all the paintings. Oh, that's nice. I only had to, Oh. Well, what do we have here? It looks like a person. Thinking about something? They're worried? Like, what should I have for... Okay, yeah, this is flavor. Why is there a supper and a dinner? There's different meals of the same thing. Maybe that's what this person's thinking about? Okay. So just because I can click on it doesn't mean it has any info. Anything on the back? No? I guess just click over here, because this is the interesting thing. Oh, look at this painting. You can see the rough sketch. Oh, it looks like it was only half completed. Oh, that's funny. The rough sketch and the finished painting look totally different to you, too? They do, actually. What's that all about? Ooh, this looks important. Hey, look there! That stain doesn't look so healthy, Apollo. That must be the Blue Mountain stuff they've been hearing about. We've been hearing. Something tells me that even Blue Mountain coffee isn't this blue. Now, this stain is probably... Better ask Emma. Nothing like... glued to the back. Apollo, this painting, I know it. Not really. It's that story where the old woman is doing the washing in the river. Yeah, it's the story of like the peach kid and the ogres and the pheasant and the dog and the monkey. Momotaro. That's the Japanese fable. Apollo, look. It's been opened once here. You're right. I wonder if there's some way we can see what's inside. Should I try to get it open and then stick it back shut? Let's not tamper with the evidence, shall we? I've got a better idea. Emma, let's ask her... Yeah, have her get in trouble for tampering with evidence. Present... Okay, first let's present the coffee mug. Emma, about this mug. There's a pale blue, residue on the rim. That? Yes, well, it's just a rumor. But I've heard that there's a kind of coffee called Blue Mountain. I'm pretty sure it isn't actually blue, Emma. Right. Okay, you got me. That's left over from my testing spray. Forensic science! I knew your hobby was behind this somehow, Emma. It's not a hobby. What kind of specific stuff were you up to? This spray, that's what. It turns blue when it touches poison. So the poison that killed the victim was on this mug? That's right. See, it wasn't in the coffee. The killer applied it to the rim of the mug itself. Wow, science is amazing. It certainly is helpful. Maybe Emma'd be willing to help us out a bit more. You should try buttering her up, Apollo. They say flattery will get you everywhere. It's certainly worth talking to her for a bit. And then, let's present this. Emma, about this. Oh, that's? Yes, that's a bright red envelope. She sure is jumpy. Someone opened this, didn't they? My lips are sealed. Your lips are sealed? That's a first. You mean, you know what's inside the envelope? Sure. I read it after all. Ah, you mean you were the one who whipped this open? Please, I would have steamed it open. But she did sneak a peek at it, apparently. Now, know that I have a powerful weapon on my side. Weapon? Yes, the use of tools. Highly specialized tools for information gathering. Tools I wouldn't mind getting my hands on. You should try flattering her, Apollo. They say a little praise can open big doors. Never heard that one, but it's good advice. Let's try talking to her some more. Wow, Emma is just slowly and slowly I'm being more convinced that people are right, and Emma is just kind of unhelpful. The victim. So this, Drew Misham was some kind of artist? Apparently. Did a lot of illustrations for books, I hear. Had a lot of female fans, too, for what it's worth. Oh, well, I guess this stuff is kind of pretty. Like that oil painting over there, for instance. Yeah. That wasn't one of his illustrations, actually. Huh? So it was, a standalone painting or something? Is that what she means? He was an odd bird, Misham. Hadn't shown his face to anyone until the end. What do you mean, to anyone? He was always locked up here in his studio, apparently. His only connection to the outside world was through letters he'd put in that letterbox there. Letters? Do people still write letters? What do you mean, Apollo? I mean, when was the last time you wrote a letter? Don't most people use email and stuff these days? Not Mr. Misham. Couldn't stand technology, it seems. You know, despite all of the mountains of technology in his room, he did everything by mail. Maybe he thought that was way more artistic, you know? I'm starting to get the feeling that this Misham guy was a freak. In any case, the only person besides him allowed in here was his daughter, Vera. Oh, you mean the killer? The suspect, please. We took some fingerprints, of course. The only ones found in the room were Mr. Misham's and Vera's, basically. Basically? Actually, last night, Mr. Misham gave an interview to a reporter for the first time. It happened during the interview, apparently. His first interview ever? Could you tell us a bit more about what happened the night of the murder? That interviewer is sounding suspicious. We have one other person at the crime scene. Defendant. So this woman, Vera, she's Mr. Misham's daughter, right? Yep, a real sickly girl, ever since she was little. Hardly ever went outside. She did kind of give off a withdrawn sort of aura. She was homeschooled by her father, apparently. It was quite a scene when they took her to the detention center. She was screaming about how she'd die if they took her outside. That does sound like a scene. In the end, she agreed to leave if she was allowed her good luck charm for company. Her good luck charm? Apparently, she has this charm that magically gives her the courage to go outside. Why can't I ever get a normal client? But why would a shut-in daughter kill her own dad? Don't look at me. So, about the poison, it was found to be in his coffee, right? No, not precisely. Well, you already know this. We already talked about that. The night of the crime. Like I said, last night was the first time someone from the outside came into the studio. I guess mysterious painters who never go outside make good articles. And it just so happened that he died the night of his first interview? At around 9 p.m. every night, Vera always made him a cup of coffee. Last night, he drank his usual coffee, and suddenly became violently ill. That's a big mug. Wow, that mug is as big as his head. If you drink a whole cup of coffee like that, you are getting a heart attack. And died? He actually just died of a caffeine overdose. the poison was unrelated. She poisoned him on the night of his interview? Wouldn't the reporter see? He wasn't near Mr. Misham when she brought her father his coffee. He was checking out some equipment from the back of the room. Supposedly, that's why she didn't notice he was there. It was the reporter who called the police, in fact. Wait, but why is she the suspect? If anyone is suspicious, it's the reporter. Yet the reporter never got near Mr. Misham's coffee. By whose alibi? Even Vera acknowledges that. Regardless, I want to know more about this reporter. It sounds like you have shoddy witness testimony for both of those, because the reporter would lie, and Vera seems very manipulable, easy to manipulate, and not mentally there. So I don't know if she has the most reliable testimony. Also, again, she is the suspect, so why are we trusting her testimony? Unless it's a flat-out confession. I bet Emma could help us out here. Don't forget, Flatty will get you everywhere with her, Apollo. Now, what are you two whispering about? Well, I was thinking... I mean... What is it we always do when we run into a... when we run into at a crime scene? What is it we always do scientifically? Ah, you know me too well. Okay. Okay. Meaning we can get, scientific now? Oh, I suppose. Just this once. Bring me anything you find suspicious and we'll check it out. Court record. This is new. Let's look at this. Nope. Okay, I guess, do I just present the stuff now? About the mug, pale blue, residue on the rim, that's just a rumor, Blue Mountain. Okay, you got me, that's left from testing spray. Yeah, let's do some science. It's not a hobby. This spray, yeah. See... The poison now? Okay, so I just have to present the stuff again now that I've talked to her. That's a little annoying. I was afraid you were going to ask about that. See, this solution is used to test for a quote... atroquinine. Atroquinine? What? Atroquinine, the deadly poison found in the autopsy. Oh, I know that spark in her eyes. She's getting excited. Best tread lightly. It's one of the most, virulent poisons? But it's also absorbed into the body astonishingly slowly. It takes at least 15 minutes from the time of ingestion for the adverse effects to show. Oh, and guess what? Recent research has shown... That's fine, really. We don't need to know all of the gory details. I think I get it. You just spray the stuff on something you want to test, right? Precisely. You can find even the slightest traces of poison with this. I want to try too, Emma. Pretty please. You don't have to ask twice. I already used it on everything suspicious, of course. Yay, let's give it a whirl, Apollo. Ah, what are you doing? I was just seeing if I got a reaction off you. How is this for a reaction? Never do that again. I'm not poisonous. Tell that to those hapless witnesses on the stand. Let's just get down to checking for real poison, shall we? Ooh. Looking for poison. Looking for poison. Looking for poison. I mean, you'd think the paint was... This is a suspicious spot. I'm not finding any poison. The poison for Cusco. Cusco's poison. Anything in the mail? I'm finding a whole lot of nothing. I'm about to start looking up a guide, because I've kind of sprayed everything. Boop boop boop, the boop boop boop. Poison for Cusco. Was it not the... I imagine the paint was poisoned or something. I imagine that's the twist. I can't... God, oh God, I'm embarrassed. But this is taking too long. Okay, so I got an email. A's a tiny frog guide. Move to the... Oh, there's a lot to do. Forensic science. You'll find nothing, but you'll be prone to spray again as you try to back out. Oh, so I'm supposed to find nothing. That's annoying. I'm glad I checked, because I legit thought I was being an idiot. Too bad, no reaction there. I'm sure Emma checked out all the likely spots. Wait a second. What is it, Apollo? Did you spray that little desk over there? I don't think so. The spray probably can't reach that far, you know? Let's check it out, just to be sure. I totally... Is anything in here? Nope. Here? Was it the pen? The feather duster? No? This? The journal? Oh, the small little suspicious flame. You framed poison. Dude, this is some special poison. It's your favorite poison, and you can't ever, not. You gotta... Who doesn't frame poison? It's fine. Ah! A reaction, Apollo! What? Where? Where? The inside of that little cute flame. Look! Well, would you look at that? Nice going, Trucy. You see, the killer knew that this was his licking flame, because he just licked flames sometimes, so he poisoned the flame when the daughter wasn't looking. I'm known to work magic. Never mind that I was the one who found it. That I was the one who found it. Why would the inside of the frame have poison on it? It looks like we found the only other piece that was poisoned in any case. Now that we've done... let's present this just to be safe. About this. Oh, Jumpy, someone opened it. Lips are sealed. Yeah, but now that we've talked, do you want to do a science thing with it, or... Yeah, you have a weapon. Do you want to do science? Yeah, cool, you have a sciencey thing, but can we do it? Can we... Come on, let's be science pals. About that envelope we found. I was wondering if you could help us out with the tool you were mentioning. You want to know about my tool, do ya? It's called X-Ray Analyzer. X-ray? Like the X-rays you get at the dentist? That's right. At least, that's what I call it. Huh? It has a real name, but it's much more complicated. The X-ray spectralization. Something. How am I supposed to remember all that? So basically, it lets you see inside things, like envelopes. That's right, you're sharp, Trucy, and it only gives you mild chance for cancer. Oh, but it's a bit more complicated than that. In practice, of course. Actually, to tell the truth, I'm not really sure how it works scientifically. Ooh, can I try it out, Emma? Please? Oh, I suppose. Of course, I've already checked out everything suspicious myself. Alright, let's give it a spin, Apollo. Wow. Yeah, what are you doing? Oh, just seeing if I could see through your hair. But it's like lead. Point that thing at me anymore and it might all fall out. Then I wouldn't need an X-ray machine to see through it. Let's just get down to business, shall we? Right, let's test out our sample first. It just so happens that I have a lottery ticket here. Scanning, 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 scanning. You set the sample in device like so. I don't see anything. Patience, there's no need to be all antsy. You look at the right side of the screen. That's the layer view on the envelope. Layer view? You got it. You've got it set to display the outside of the envelope now. See? Actually, it's quicker just to have you give it a try. Turn that dial with the ba-ba-ba-ba-ba for me, will ya? That's right, that's how you choose what depth you want to scan. Hey, I got something! See, that's how you can read the letters on the ticket inside. Cool, huh? Except, I can't read them. Just turn the dial a little more. I don't actually get to, I'm not actually scrolling and just doing it. What you have to understand is that a sheet of paper isn't really flat at all. When you zoom in that much, you see the paper is like a bunch of hills and valleys. Wow, really? This X-ray device uses a beam with a wavelength of only 0.05 microns. It breaks cards down into a thin layer so it can show what's written on that layer. I'm not entirely following you, but what good is it if you can't read anything? That's why we gotta go on to step 2. Try rubbing the image a bit if you would. Rubbing? Like with the ba-ba-ba-ba-ba while holding the ba? Oh, I get to play now? There, that fixes the image on the screen. Now turn the dial again, just a little. Good, now you can rub this image to fix it, too. Hey, I get it. We just keep doing this until we've got the whole thing. Exactly, not bad. Neat, let's do some more. So I'm just basically... Gotcha, so I basically have to do it layer by layer. 0016. There we go. Well, looks like Emma lost. I mean, I'm done. I can see it. I mean, I guess I can just fuck around a bit more. Okay, let's print this one out. Yeah, I figured I had to do the whole thing. Does this mean I have to buy another one to win? Well, it's Emma's ticket. Let her buy the other one. It's okay, there's no need. But see, this is the true hidden power of my weapon. Neat, huh? Imagine if she actually won and she was like, holy shit, I'm rich now. I'm not in the case anymore. I'm going to Maui. Now let's try it out on the real thing, shall we? This is actually a pretty neat minigame. It's a little time consuming, but it's interesting. It's a letter! Mr. Drew Misham, I've deposited the 100,000 on this on the designated account. Please send a receipt once you've confirmed the transfer. So so they're doing a little money exchange. Ooh. Okay, let's print this one out. 100,000. Okay, yeah, that's a lot of money. Someone deposited 100,000 to Mr. Misham's account? His paintings must be really valuable. There's another page in there too. Care to take a look? You bet I do. If you're going to read someone's mail, you might as well read it all. Here goes with the second page, then. Scatman! I'm just clearing away the residue. X-raying gas, for whoever knows what that is. Okay, let's print this one out. Sign the papers and send in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. I need not remind you to speak of this to no one. Ooh, hush hush. So it was a letter about payment for one of his paintings? Why all the secrecy, though? And what? Why was this letter the only one in here? It's 7 years old, right? Maybe it had some special significance to him? Well, Emma? Well, indeed. Well, indeed. She knows something she's not telling us. Looks like she's keeping mum about it. Mum, huh? That's a Britishism, I know it. So, Emma, I was wondering, what's the story about this reporter that came for a story the night of the crime? I'm afraid I can't tell you because he's going to be a witness tomorrow, I hear. I thought so. I'll never forget that face. But what was his name? Oh, right. Brushel. Like brush? Brushel. He's after a scoop to sell to the papers. So a reporter comes for an interview with a painter. His first interview ever, and that night he's killed? Seems strange to you? Really strange. It does raise a few questions. I'd like to speak with this reporter if I could. Well, I hear he's on the beat today, so... He said something about covering a magician? Magician? Well, if it's not Trucy, that only leaves one other person. It wasn't Valent Gramarye by any chance, was it? Yeah, something like that. He's got some big shows lined up, I hear. After all, there's only 2 magicians in the whole town, apparently. Actually, there's only 2 magicians in the whole of Japan, I mean America. So, he's out interviewing Valent Gramarye. Looks like I'll be heading out to the Coliseum again sooner than I thought. Yeah, I'll give you the reporter's card if you want. Alright. Just to make sure I cover my bases, I'm gonna present this to you. I was wondering if you could take a look at this. I'm a detective, you can't just ask me any old... Okay, so you have nothing to do with this. Okay, doesn't care. Yeah, let's leave. Sunshine Coliseum! Woohoo! This is it, Apollo! The place where magic and dreams converge. Just a while ago, it was the place where murder and nightmares converged. Let's go say hi to Uncle Valent. What about the caves? Only a performer laughs like that. Whoa! The young Miss Trucy! How often I hoped we'd meet again, only to tell myself it was an impossible dream. Uncle Valent, how's it going? I'm glad to see you too. Of course you are! Humility is definitely not one of his stronger traits. Well, Miss Trucy, how does the day find you? If you've come to give me flowers, do it after the show, I beg you. Actually, we came to wish you good luck. And congratulations on your big magic show. Oh, but is it I who wish to congratulate you? Not everyone is so lucky as to witness miracles, such as the ones I shall perform. Yeah, you're amazing. We get the picture. The world will watch in wonderment as Magnify's illusions are reborn.
here on stage by my hand.
Talk. The big magic show. Everyone's talking about the big magic show. Is it true that the Gramarye Miracle is back after 7 years of absence?
Miss Trucy, I must apologize. This show and this honor should have been his.
Daddy.
My co-magician in training, Zach Gramarye. If that terrible thing hadn't...
It's okay.
Your father was a great magician, Trucy. If he were alive, then I, valiant Gramarye, would have been proud to stand upon this stage as his assistant.
Thanks, Uncle Valent. You know, I'm happy you're doing the show. To think we get to see the great Magnify's illusion again. She really is looking forward to this, isn't she?
My mentor, the magnificent Magnify Gramarye, was a true deity among magicians. A creator god who gave birth to magic and illusions that defied our very imaginations.
I was so little when I last saw one, but I still remember his shows. He did wheelies in a sports car through the air above the audience, and then sped off to the outer space faster than the speed of sound. I'm guessing that memory was a bit embellished. I embezzled your memories.
For 7 long years, the world has been waiting for a miracle to match his. As heir to the Gramarye Troop secrets, it falls to me to provide one. It is my God-given destiny! Yes, you, nameless face who speaks for the nameless masses. How can I help you?
If the world was waiting, why did you hold off for 7 long years?
It appears that lad is uninformed. Perhaps you have heard of the magic known as law, which governs our land?
I have, though I'm not sure it qualifies as magic. But you know what? It really does work on the impossibilities, so...
The performance of Magnify's miracle was impossible! A certain law prevented it for 7 years, but no more.
7 years? That phrase sure likes to pop up, doesn't it? And why was that?
A little matter called performance rights, Miss Trucy.
Can you tell us what these performance rights?
Magnify's magic relied on an incredible innovative idea, a trick, if you will. That trick was considered his property, and as such was protected by property laws.
Intellectual property, maybe?
Magnify knew this and bequeathed it in his will. To one person!
You mean him?
Yes, Miss Trucy, it was your father. Zach Gramarye was the inheritor of the Gramarye Miracle.
Daddy.
Yet, as you well know, he is gone. He disappeared suddenly 7 years ago.
I think I see where this story is going.
Once a person
is classified as missing for a certain period of time, they're considered legally deceased, correct?
In all absoluteness, those rolled-up sleeves conceal your competence well, young man. That certain period of time of which you speak is 7 years.
Ah!
Yes, Miss Trucy. Though it pains...
So he isn't actually legally considered dead until now. He was just missing. I have no idea what the situation is.
Though it pains me to say it, the past spring, April to be precise, was the time. Your father was legally declared deceased. In the absence of a formal will, the secrets of our mighty mentor Magnify passed to me. This was in fact stipulated in the will by Magnify himself.
Is that how it works, Apollo? Yeah, it's called death in absentia. That's declared missing. Permanently. Daddy. I got anything I want to show you, or... Oh yeah, let's show you the magic stuff.
A challenge, is it? You want me to make that disappear? Very well, give it to me!
No thanks. All magicians like this. Apollo, what was that look just now? How hard it is to get any information of a magician. Present this. I was wondering if you could tell me about this.
Aha! Why, that bears the Gremory seal.
Oh. Uncle Valant, is something wrong?
Trucy, where did you get this?
Huh? Daddy gave it to me.
Your daddy, my partner Zach Grammer?
No. My other daddy, Phoenix Wright.
Why now? Why now? Why would your lord daddy?
Lord, Daddy, that's kind of stretching the whole archaic thing a bit.
This signature upon the back, do you recognize it? That belongs to no other than Zach Gremory.
What? Daddy signed this?
Might I be so bold as to open it?
I'm sorry, but I can't let you do that. What's in this envelope, I wonder? You want to look at this mug with poison on it? My top dollar for information. That's fucking. I kind of want to give the reporter this voice now. Top dollar for information. Freelance journalist Spark Brussel. Anything else to do? I'm still looking for that. Oh wait, I need to ask this. I can present this actually. So, a journalist was here on a story?
All eyes in the universe are upon my stage. All pens seek to commit its mysteries to paper.
His name was Brushel.
Brushel.
I think he remembers him. He doesn't look too happy about it.
Brushel. That cloying smell of mint when he smiles, yes.
Could you tell us more about him? What did he want?
A man by that name called on me just now.
Just now?
Valiant's vision is always toward tomorrow. Valiant's feet step always forward. That is all.
That's all? Very confusing.
I am to perform a big magic show, yes? I wanted someone to cover it. Yet, he had ears only for that incident.
That incident?
In any case, I requested that the rapacious reporter remove himself. So a painter has died. What of it? It is but a footnote in the footlights compared to the magic of Gremory.
Uncle Valant, do you know where the reporter went?
I recommend he visit that place popular with penalized perpetrators.
The detention center?
He was a rude individual. Might I see that card?
Sure.
He would tear apart my receptacle. I will tear him apart.
Oh, here it comes, Apollo. Uncle Valant's big magic trick. Is he going to fix the card? I'm not sure that qualifies as big magic. What happened to the big magic?
It is not more miraculous for it to stay ripped.
He must have really not liked that journalist.
Now the time has come when I must return to make my presentation preparation. By your leave, Miss Trucy.
Thanks, Uncle Valant.
3 days from now, make ready for a miracle.
What do you think that journalist was after? And why did Valant react like that to the envelope? I think it's time to pay the detention center another visit. I do want to just... Not you.
Oh, it's just gone from my inventory now. Okay. I guess go to Write Anything Agency. Phoenix, how we doing? Nothing new. Detention Center! October 7th, Detention Center. Visitor's room.
I think I hear what you're saying. We're all doing it for the money, end quote. No.
What the fuck did I...
No, not at all.
Looks like someone's already meeting here. Maybe that reporter? Okay, I'm gonna stick with the voice.
Hey there, how you doing? Who might you be?
Sorry, we didn't know someone was already here. What the fuck was that animation? I hate this man. Oh, I have never seen this man before in my life, and I absolutely despise him. I'm Apollo Justice, attorney at law. Talk about a nervous monkey.
You're Justice? You
know me?
Do I know you? Of course I know you. Stares down the witness on stand till they spill beans, end quote.
That's not true. What's he writing? Are you a reporter by any chance?
Well, you're Trucy. Am I famous? Oh yeah. Trucy like hates carrying a bag. Puts everything she owns in her panties, end quote. That's so not true. Just hold on to your britches there. I'll wrap up this interview in a jiffy. Interview? So, guard, I think I know what's going on here. Guarding rooms is my life. What else could I possibly need? End quote. No. How many times do I have to tell you this? Look, I've got work to do. You deal with him.
Did you come here to interview the guard, or?
Ooh-wee, what a pickle! Accused wouldn't talk, had to interview someone or go plumb crazy. End quote.
Huh? I should have guessed.
Where's my manners? Name's Brushel, Spark Brushel. I'm not picky. A journalist just closes eyes, writes, end quote.
What's that nauseating strongman smile every time he grins?
Until you've been interviewed by me, you don't know what thrilling is. Wild up the crossroads of mayhem's madness, end quote.
I can see that.
He's writing something again. Well, if he's a reporter, maybe he knows something. So, Mr. Bushel, you're a journalist? Me? Look, let me state one thing for the record here.
Yes?
I'm the interviewer, you understand, yeah? I'm the one who's asking the questions here, end quote.
Okay.
For instance, you think a movie director watches movies?
Well, I think he probably does.
Exactly! I think you'd understand.
Huh? So, the night of the murder, you were at Drew's studio?
Who, me? Look, let me state one thing for the record.
Yes?
I may look calm and collected, but I'm busy, real busy, always on the road. Journalist always buys one-way tickets, never looks back, end quote.
I can understand that philosophy, but...
You want to know the thing about one-way tickets? Once you use them, they're gone. All because you have to give them to the guy at the airport.
True enough, but don't they give normal tickets away too?
Exactly. See, it's the same thing.
What is? So, you went to do a story on Drew Mission, and he never had a story done about him before.
That's right. Look, let me state on one thing for the record here. Oh, I have a bot in my chat. I'm going to kill you now.
This is very close to my Torbeck voice.
Well, nah, Torbeck don't like that.
I hate this character, but I'm having so much fun with him.
What? I'm sure you're going to want to know about my source. What tipped me off to Drew? Why do the interview in the first place?
Well, yes.
Look, it's like, oh, I've got it. See, there's this burger joint with the fabulous ketchup. You think the burger guy's always gonna tell me where he got it?
At the supermarket, maybe?
Exactly! See, that's what I'm talking about!
I think I may have actually understood that one.
Well, there's nothing I can really talk about, really. We all have ears, eyes, especially glass walls with speakers. End quote.
Right. Guess we'll leave then.
But since you're here, might as well tell you a tidbit of news I just saw. Just for the heck of it.
Sure, tell us. Just for the heck of it.
I remember it like it was yesterday. I'd seen a movie on a trip and wandered into this burger place with amazing ketchup when an article in the tabloid caught my eye. Famous oil painting stolen from art dealer's gallery. End quote. I believe it was.
Yeah, I hate his nose. An oil painting?
Happens every day, right? But I thought I'd seen that painting somewhere before. A painting of a giant peach floating down a river.
Someone stole an oil painting of a giant peach?
Journalists can smell scoops better than burgers. End quote.
Anything to show? Is it this?
Alright, let me go to the record here.
Yes?
I know what you're going to say. Brushel, take this. Write brilliant column. End quote.
I don't think so.
Look, buddy, I write brilliant columns about one thing, and that's food. Try to understand.
What could he possibly be writing? He didn't listen to one word I said. Yeah, Brush will take the... Okay, yeah, it's just like, I don't give a shit. Am I done here? Did you poison the coffee? No, you don't give a shit. God, I hate him so... He's so ugly. No, you don't give a shit about his letterbox. Did you poison his licking flame?
I didn't poison his licking flame.
Also, I noticed that he has a little feather brush in his pocket. I hate it. How come this is the... I have the... So far in this whole playthrough, I'm having the most fun voicing this guy. God damn it. Just go to write anything, to studio... Oh, cool. Well, how'd it go? Find anything out? Actually, there was one thing I wanted to check with you. What's with that scary face you're making? And what's with the I know something, but I'm not telling face you've got going on, Emma? Give me a sec, I got a phone call. Hello? Okay, I'm glad I answered that phone call. That was an important phone call.
I got a second interview, chat. Let's go, Pog. We Pog.
Alright, now, if Emma would just be cooperative. This painting came from behind that dresser. Yes, so it was. Ooh, okay. So this is important. It was stolen, no? I was hoping you wouldn't figure that out. Do you think you could tell us a bit about this? I suppose. It's what you think. Drew Misham was a forger. A forger? We got some info. He was a freak. So, what exactly is a forger? Well, basically, it's someone who makes forgeries. Fakes, in other words. Fakes? Copies of an original. Exact copies. So precise, you can't tell them apart. Well, why not just photocopy them? The big problem with forgeries is that people try to sell them as real articles. It's a crime, of course. So Drew Misham was a criminal. I'm afraid so. He received money to create elaborate forgeries. To supplement his work in illustrations, I guess. I see. Actually, that's why I brought this here in the first place. What do you mean? You're trying to determine if a painting is a forgery. The rough sketches underneath can be a valuable clue. So the rough sketch is like practice for the real thing. So like doing a magic trick in front of a mirror before you go on stage. But not in the case of a forgery, not necessarily anyway. You know what the finished product is going to look like after all, munch. If you guys can't tell, that's me trying to do a mouthful voice. Oh yeah, I guess you would. That's why I bought this. I'm going to use it to see what's under the paint and the finished piece. I get it now. Not that I really need to go to such lengths. Oh, that's why all the paintings are so different. Because he's forging all these different styles of paintings. Not that I really need to go to such lengths. Seeing as how one of my paintings was only half finished anyway, as one of the paintings. Still, it'd be neat to see Mr. Misham's rough sketches. Kind of like what he was drawing when he thought no one was looking. True, that would be interesting, and maybe valuable for our case. You should try buttering her up, Apollo. A fatty will get you everywhere, they say. Maybe I should ask him to help us out. Okay. I've already done the forensic science bit. So if I present the paintings, maybe she'll want to look at them. I kind of want to see the rough sketches under this painting. And I was wondering if your tool there might do the trick. Oh, fine, fine. Just use this. Just this time, though. Let's check it out. Scanning, scanning. Alright, this is the shapes one. I don't remember what the style of painting is, but meh. I am curious what kind of image this is gonna make. Whoa. The guy drew a dick underneath. Oh, shit. They're playing poker. From case... 3 aces, a 3 and a 2. Okay, let's print this one out. Okay, so 2 aces, a 4, a 3, and a 2. What? What the heck? Wow, he really blows. The finished painting isn't anything like the rough. Devices like mine didn't exist until recently. He probably thought he could draw any sort of thing he wanted to before the rough. What do you mean? Well, in the past, you could only analyze the composition of a rough sketch. Composition? In other words, the traces of charcoal between paint and canvas. So you could tell if there had been a rough sketch. But not what it looked like. I think I follow you. So in essence, it wouldn't matter what was underneath the finished painting. Some pros would actually paint out a rough sketch entirely, then do a complete new painting on top of that. So Mr. Mission was drawing whatever he wanted before painting over them? Possibly. Is there a problem with that? Not particularly, but something about the sketch itself is kind of odd. You're awfully silent all of a sudden, Apollo. You'd think we could check out one of the other paintings? Well, sure. You like this detection stuff, don't you? Are they all going to be of poker scenes? This is kind of cool. I do like this mechanic. It's interesting. This is my favorite of the, like, forensic stuff. This is cooler than the soundboard, and I really enjoy sound mixing. What the... Is that a building? No, it's a... What the? It's Eldoon's noodle cart. Is this all 3 of the cases? Okay, let's print this one out. Okay, now... Okay. This one too. What's wrong, Apollo? You look so serious all of a sudden. You think I could just look at these the last of these? Fine by me. Knock yourself out. This is going to be like the dressing room or something. Oh, this is actually kind of cool. I'm really digging this case so far. This is really making up for the last case, which was kind of garbage, despite me liking the characters. Okay, this is the platform. Who's on the Okay, let's print this one out. Oh, he's just fully on fire. That's kind of awesome. But is Gavin just fully on fire? Philly Van Gogh. What the heck is all this? I hesitate to ask why you're getting so excited. You sure your device isn't leaking some sort of strange radiation? Juicy, look at these 3 sketches. Do you notice anything? The poker, Eldon's noodle cart, Gavin is on fucking fire. What? They are... Now you're both white as sheets. What's going on? These sketches are of the 3 cases I worked on. What? The murder in the poker room at the Borscht Bowl Club. The dead man pulling the noodle stand. And then... The events that transpired during the Gaviniers concert. What could it mean? What could have drawn those things, and why? That's what I want to know. Wait, is Drew Misham your father? Give me a break. Does that seem even remotely possible to you? I'd never even heard of Drew Misham before. I hadn't even seen a picture of him. But they were my cases, drawn on his canvases. Every single one of them. It couldn't have been a coincidence. Just who was this Drew Misham? And what did he have to do with me? Oh, this is getting cool. I'm really digging this case. Alright, I've saved twice for safety, as you do. Next chapter, next chapter. I'm digging this. Oh, it's not... This is the most fun I've been having this whole game. But this is also all the new stuff. Dude, Ace Attorney is so fun. Good morning. So, you're Vera, right? I'm Chusi. Chusi Right. That's right with a W, but not right. Right? War on your side. Can you tell us anything? Please? Good morning. She speaks? Not bad, not bad. But I think you do better with a little smile, you know? You're so pretty, you need to sell yourself, you know? But Trucy, let's take it easy for starters. Thank you for taking my case. Okay, well that's a start, I guess. I guess that's how she shows emotion. There she goes with the nail polish again. That's great, really. It's so cultured. Want to try? Oh, really? Girls. The victim, Drew Misham, was a forger. And a stolen painting was found in his studio. A life of crime. Really? It may be one that led to his death. October 8th, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom number 3. Okay, how are we doing this whole Joey thing?
Well, we will now, begin the, trial of the Vera Misham.
Is the judge okay? His voice is all raspy. He's looking around all nervous like.
The repercussions of today's trial will most likely be felt for a long time and may indeed alter our legal system forever. And today is a test of the jury system, and is the first step toward the new order in our courts.
Daddy's secret mission.
The jurists will function like a jury. It is hoped that their inclusion will help the courts to better reflect the people's will.
Why aren't there any jurists in the courtroom?
Three closed circuit 3 closed-circuit cameras watch this courtroom at all times. The jurists have access to everything that transpires. Jurists, Judge, well, and Judge Cool. Now see here, Prosecutor Gavin. I was going to say that, and my apologies, there, Judge. Jurists, today, Judge today trialed Cooley, if you would be so kind. And the jurists are unbound by the letter of the law. They don't affect the trial with evidence, but their feelings. And what we're about to find out just what effect they're going to have. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. The details of the case, if you would. The victim is the painter Drew Misham. He was killed in his own studio. His coffee was poisoned. By whom, you ask? By none other than the defendant, Vera Misham. There wasn't any poison in the coffee. Someone has been doing their homework. Indeed, poison was not present in the coffee, but on the mug itself. The mug? Ah, residue found on the rim, I see. The autopsy report describes the manner of our victim's death. The court accepts this as evidence. According to this report, the victim's death was accused by aquatronine poisoning, a chemical compound that does not occur naturally. A lethal dosage is a mere 0.02 milligrams. I believe that's what mg is, milligrams. A touch of atronine quine in the body is the touch of the Reaper's scythe. Very well. Prosecutor Gavin, you may present your witness. Oh boy, here we go. I have for you today a simple man for a simple case. A man who witnessed the murder in its entirety. That journalist, no doubt. The witness will state his name and occupation.
Oh, right. Well, for starters, my name's Spike Brushel. My job is a lone observer of the world.
In other words, a freelance journalist, right?
Ahem, if you don't mind, I'd like to state something here for the record.
Yes, Mr. Brushel?
I dislike conclusions. Specifically, the aspect of jumping to conclusions. Preconceptions make park sandbox of endless desert waste. End quote.
But you are a journalist. You said so yourself yesterday.
Well, that's true, yes. But you must understand, I stand before you today a man with a dream. I'm offering you my testimony in exchange for exclusive rights to the story. Scoop turns Mr. Brushel into that Mr. Brushel. End quote.
Let's hear your testimony then, shall we? A simple case, eh? Gavin, for me, the jury is still out. I read that weird, but whatever.
I visited the studio around 9 that night to do the interview. The first outsider to enter the Altier. Journalistic history made. End quote. His daughter brought us coffee right after we started. And you know what happened next? Star falls. End quote. No one else entered the room besides her the whole time.
Oh, that does sound like a simple case. Unless you were the one who poisoned him.
What's you saying, Judge?
Ahem. Need I remind you that the cameras are rolling today? I felt the need to be a bit dramatic. You didn't do it, did you?
Me do a thing like that? Oh, come on, that's like newsmaker making the news, end quote. Or even contemporary witch hunt, end quote. I know, wild accusations rock courtroom, end quote.
Luck indeed.
Prosecutor Gavin sure looks like he's having fun.
I'm so happy for him. Very well. Mr. Justice, your cross-examination, please.
I visited the studio around 9 to do the interview. The first outsider into the LTO, end quote. His daughter brought us coffee right after we started. Let's press that. That seems relevant. Would you mind being a little more specific?
Ooh-wee! Let me tell you, I enjoy a cuppa. In fact, it all began when I was in 3rd grade. No, wait, that's not what I meant.
I believe I know what Orforehead is driving at. This coffee the victim was served. Did anyone other than the defendant touch it?
Right, that's what I was going to say, really.
Well now, if you've got a question to ask, you better be straight up and ask it. And that's why I tell you, I'll new recruits several times if necessary. Right for a grade schooler. That's my motto! Which isn't to say I can only write grade school level.
Who touched the coffee?
Dunno. I was in the back looking at the studio's equipment when she served it.
And what happened next?
Yeah, what does this mean? What's this about a star falling? Star falls, huh? It's like an old telegram. Send money over.
Zowie! You don't know? That's like a journalist code word. An important personage passes away. A star falls. Get it?
But there's no gravity in space. Is there? I wouldn't think stars could fall, really. Does this matter?
Oh boy, this is like good stuff, good stuff. How about star breaks? Nah, lacks punch. I know, star dies. Nah, lacks imagination. Of course, you could go with Drew dies, straight to the point. I like it.
I think we need to hear about something a little more substantial. The moment of death. About when Mr. Mission passed away.
Oh boy, what a scene that was. He put his coffee mug down with a crash, right?
Yes, and then?
Then the cold finger of death touches his spine. Life's flame sputters and it fails. So cold was that touch, he could do naught but tremble uncontrollably. Actually, life's flame is a little tired. Life's river froze over. Yes, that's a go.
I think he's starting his article already. Could you describe that a little more simply?
Well, as you can imagine, I was pretty surprised. He hit the floor, as they say, on his his final performance. End quote.
A Quattro 9 paralyzes the central nervous system. The body arches back like a bow. The limbs tremble, and yada yada yada. That's quite enough of that. Some of us want to be able to sleep tonight.
Oh yeah? Well, I want details. Lots of juicy details.
For that, you can listen to our last year's hit single, A Quattro 9 My Love, by the Gaviniers, available at all major music outlets. The point here is that the victim died of a Quattro 9 poisoning. Well, Mr. Justice, how did you find that testimony?
Important. Well, as an account for the moment victim's death, I'd say it's very important. Please add it to the testimony.
Very well. The court requests a witness and adds this account to his testimony.
Okay. Do I have anything talking... Okay, so Quattro 9 was found. That envelope. Letterbox. Victims, time of death. Okay, that's just the autopsy report. Anything that talks about a Quattro 9 in detail? Okay. So spasm, that was definitely by death by poison. Let's pass it. You say it was definitely death by poison. How can you be so sure? Hey, look, I'm a journalist. I've seen a lot of things. And I've had more than my share of experience with so-called poisonings. Man eats fishy fish, goes bye-bye, end quote. Food poisoning doesn't count. Oh, should I get him to talk about something else? I guess Bushell's... Okay, that way, if I don't like what he changed it to... Okay, what's Bushell's coffee? So you drink the coffee that Vera served you too? Of course! When someone serves you coffee, you drink it! That's what my old boss always used to say. Never did get what he meant by it, though. But you're still alive, which is to say you didn't die. Of course not! No point falling before your story, end quote. That's not exactly what I was getting at.
What were you getting at then? You know the poison was on the rim, not in the coffee.
Oh yes, yes! There were 2 cups on the tray she bought. And one of the cups had Drew's signature painted on the side.
No chance you would take that one by mistake, I guess.
Oh, that was...
Not important. Definitely death by poison. That doesn't, it's not contradictory. You say it was definitely death by poisoning. I'm actually playing the game now, so this is actually a very different kind of stream. What stars coffee? And you say Mr. Misham had the coffee too? But did you actually see him drink the coffee?
Of course! He who sees it wins, but he who says it wins bigger, end quote. I live in a man sees dog-eat world and writes about it world. Yet.
Yet?
Guess I can't say I saw him drink it, really. He had one so-called sip, if that. Man puts lips to mug, drinks, end quote.
Oh, the poison is quite violent, I hear.
My stomach did a so-called somersault, since I gulped down the coffee without so much as a second glance at it. Wait, maybe something's there, some kind of so-called trick? Anyone wants to venture a guess for the record?
Does this guy have a pause button?
Oh, Mr.
Sure, yeah, let's put this in. Then immediately fell over.
Oh, yes, yes. You can go to the past with that one.
Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Your Honor, this is a vital piece of information. Please add it to the testimony.
Very well. The witness will add this to his testimony.
Vital, right.
Okay. So that's wrong, because what here talks about... Okay, I'm gonna present the mug and see if that gets me anything. Okay, this is right. You know what I have a problem with? A particular property of the poison use. Atroquin 9.
Oh, Prosecutor Gavin was quite clear about the poisoning. A lethal dosage of 0.002 milligrams paralyzes the central nervous system. If you drink that, even you, Mr. Justice, would be reduced to a quivering pile.
Why are you using me as an example?
Unfortunately, we weren't told everything. There was a vital omission in Prosecutor Gavin's information.
An omission?
A Quattro 9 is a virulent, he says. But death doesn't come upon ingestion. Not immediately. That's because Quattro 9 is a slow acting.
Slow acting?
Wah.
According to one forensic scientist. It's one of the most virulent poisons, but is absorbed into the body astonishingly slowly. It takes at least 15 minutes from the time of ingestion for the adverse effects to show. If we suppose that the moment of Misham sipped the coffee was when he sealed his fate, then he would still have had time left to enjoy his last cup of joe. Wow, look at that backspite. What the what?
Order! Order! Oh, what's the meaning of this? If that's what the defense says is correct, why, that contradicts the entire testimony we just heard.
Well, Mr. Bushel, anything to say? On the record. Slow acting. Slow act. It was a valiant, all right. Even then, if it had already begun digging its claws into the journalist. He's working on his scoop. Ugh. It's Brushel, yeah? Herr Brushel, let's take a trip back down memory lane. Huh? Did the victim really die the instant he took a sip? Think it over, this is vital. You know what I think? I think that was a not-so-subliminal suggestion. End quote. I admit it does cause a problem if he died when you say he died. I would be forced to say Auf Wiedersehen to my simple case. And you would be forced to say farewell to your article. Come again? You can't write a story based on conjecture, can you? And as the case drags on, other reporters will pick up on the scent. And you'll be forced to kiss your exclusive scoop goodbye. Scoop? Oh, ew! Scoop? Look, wait! Just a minute, a second! Just 1 second!
We're waiting. Out with it.
I think I just recalled a so-called important detail. A revival of recollection, end quote. A story of survival, end quote. Attorney utterly confused, end quote. Actually, I did notice something when I visited the studio. I heard of poison that takes its sweet time, see? But not what I've been saying for the last few minutes, apparently.
Mr. Bushel, are you saying you noticed something that explains what happened?
Oh, you bet I am. The antidote for a poisonous contradiction, end quote, you might say. Or I still have no idea what you're talking about, end quote, I might say. I figured it out, but only after an in-depth interview. See, thanks to my journalism skills, I know who poisoned that coffee.
Order!
As far as I can tell, the witness is standing by his testimony that Mr. Misham died the instant after he drank. Of course I'm standing by my testimony, and my dream of exclusive rights to this story. I suppose it was too much to hope for. What was? Of course he wouldn't choose a simple case. Not him.
Him?
Phoenix Wright. Who else? A Chunga, Brushel. Report for us, if you would. What is it that you noticed?
Court is a critical time of the jury system. I'm afraid no room for doubt is permissible. You will testify to the court about what you noticed.
I have mixed feelings that we don't actually get to meet the jury like in the Great Ace Attorney, but that's fine. It's less voices for me. When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Misham was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. I thought nothing of it at the time, of course. But now that I think about it, what he was writing a suicide note.
Oh, a suicide note?
Yes, he had this look on his face. Man's face inscrutable as a quadratic equation. End quote. Suicide? Poor Mr. Misham. But that means Farrah's innocent. Would someone commit suicide in the middle of an interview? Oh.
Very well. You may begin your cross-examination.
Was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. Let's press that. So he put the letter away when he saw you. The early reporter gets worm, end quote. That's my secret. I'm not sure I follow. It's the night of the interview. I arrive at 15 minutes ahead of schedule. The handle turns, the door opens, and I barge in. Are you sure that's okay to do? I mean, isn't that unlawful entry, really? Mr. Misham sure seemed to think so. You should have seen him. He crammed his letter into that yellow envelope as fast as he could. I know a secret when I spot one, and that was one.
It does seem significant. Well, Mr. Justice?
I wonder. It does have the ring of something important. Yeah, sure, add a testimony. The defense finds this testimony vital, Your Honor.
Very well, please add it to the testimony.
Hey, why not? My account comes free of charge. So I could maybe present the red one, and that's a contradiction. I thought nothing of it at the time, of course. What if he was running a suicide? This is the only envelope that was left at the crime scene. Sure, let's present this. As it just so happens, there was a single letter in a desk drawer at the scene. A red envelope. What? That peak? Oh, it barely didn't. Prosecutor Gavin. Yes. Was a yellow envelope found at the scene of the crime? Unfortunately, no. But, forehead? It's easy to mistake the color of an envelope. I guess. But not this envelope. You see, it has a postmark already. 7 years ago.
Well, Mr. Bushel?
I can explain that. Drew, right? He wanted to get that letter in an envelope pronto. Get it out of sight of my beady eyes, right? So he grabbed the newest envelope and crammed it away. And what about the whole red and yellow envelope contradiction, chump?
Well, Mr. Justice, have you anything to say about the witness's claim?
That night, the victim put a letter he had been writing in a red envelope. Court record. That's impossible, because... I mean, I guess it's possible that this wasn't written 7 years ago. Because it was reopened. I don't know. I guess I'll just take the blunder. I want to say it's possible that he put it in there. The victim put a letter... It's possible. It's entirely possible. But Apollo, we checked the content of the envelope yesterday, didn't we? Oh, you're right. God, the answer was clear if I only give it a little thought. It just so happens, the defense team investigated the contents of this envelope. With, the assistance of forensic science. What? Note that this letter is addressed to Drew Misham. Oh! Why would he address a letter to himself? Oh, that's the contradiction? I don't feel bad about getting that wrong, because that's a letter that he got 7 years ago, and he's claiming that he could just put it in any old envelope, so it sounds like he put a random thing in a random envelope. But then sealed it, which is weird. Let alone send a suicide note to himself. I've been scooped!
Order! 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 Mr. Bushel, can you explain this to the court?
Oh, my. How could I have forgotten? I suppose this happens to the best of us. Reporter gets old, forgets lots. End quote.
I'm still waiting for an explanation, Mr. Bushel.
Well, that's the thing. See, after he put his letter in that envelope, Mr. Misham sat there searching his desk drawer for something. His desk drawer? Yes, a stamp. A so-called postage stamp. End quote.
A stamp? Whatever for?
Well, to mail his letter, what else? And then, why yes, I think I saw him put it in his letterbox. Yes, it was a yellow envelope, and he put it in that letterbox.
Well, apparently this yellow letter has nothing to do with the case.
Oh, I wish it did. Just think if it were a suicide note. What a story! The story writes suicide note in front of reporter. Falls. End quote.
Ahem, as I was saying, this has nothing to do with the case. That said,
Yes, Your Honor?
it makes me wonder about the contents of the red envelope.
It is Sussy Baka.
$100,000 is quite a good deal of money.
So this was from 7 years ago, yeah? So, am I finished here? Am I finished here? I was thinking of, going home to start writing. I hate to state what should be pretty obvious to anyone, but when you catch the scent of a story, you make that rather unique face. Come on! Attorney has active imagination, little else! End quote.
Even I noticed something, and my eyes aren't what they used to be. And I'm also pretty dumb. I'm starting to understand what all this perceiving stuff is about.
Judge has active imagination. End quote.
Please continue with your testimony. Tell us about the scent of a story.
I'm the one asking the questions here, usually. Actually, I took a bit of work to get a thumbs up on the interview. Reporter leverages story, gets his interview. End quote. The story concerned a certain case from 7 years ago. The red envelope, probably something to do with it. Say what you will, but Drew's talent was without compare.
So you threatened to go on press with this story? That's how you got your interview? Blackmail.
Well, yes. No. I wasn't exactly black.
Something wrong, Mr. Bushel?
Look, this is my story, my tidbit. Journalist info is livelihood. End quote.
I see. Oh.
Well, you have me chatting away in here. What's going on out there? What if some Wally Wordsworth or Sally Scooper gets wind of my story? They could be going first while I'm going to waste.
The court feels your pain, Mr. Bushel. Mr. Justice, let's pick up the pace.
A certain case 7 years ago. Wait, 7 years ago? That was 7 years ago! Huh? Ooh, I'm perceiving. Actually took a bit of a work to get a thumbs up on the interview. Reporter leverages story, gets his interview, end quote. The story concerned a certain case from 7 years ago. That red envelope probably had something to do with it. Say what you will, but Drew's talent was without compare. Interesting. Let's press that. Exactly what sort of story was this? Oh, a little one, like I said. Nothing more, nothing less. Nothing in between, end quote. I might have suggested I had a lead on this particular story, but I didn't threaten or cajole or nothing. Honest! So a suggestion was enough to get an interview. We wanted to keep it under wraps. I'm pressing that. A certain case 7 years ago? Tell us, what case? Let me say one thing, Mr. Attorney. You can quote me on this. I can't talk about that case. Why not? It's about journalistic pride, and staunchness, and credibility, and connections, and journalist reveals source only over his dead body. End quote. So what'll it be? Gonna strangle me? Dead man don't tell tales, Mr. Attorney! He sounds pretty determined not to talk. Our chances of breaking his will aren't looking good. I can perceive that. Anything weird? Anything weird you're doing? Pass. Let's press this. Just how amazing was Misham's talent?
Huh? Wee boy, I mean, hey, he's a star, man, a star! The flow of his brush is like a great, undulting river across the canvas. Artist paints light up studio like sun, end quote.
This guy is full of wacky gestures. That one just now is wackier than usual. He looks kind of nervous to me, Apollo. Definitely. I'm sensing something different than before here. Maybe it's time to bring out you-know-what. What testimony left a bad taste in your mouth? It all makes sense. Nothing jumps out as ridiculous. And what this story he's talking about is... Must have been good to get an interview with a famous reclusive like that. I wonder... Seems odd. Okay. Say what you will, but Drew's talent is anything here was without compare. His nose? Is it even here? Is like anything in his pocket or... He's just moving his mouth, nothing else is moving. Like his ear or something? Let's perceive this. A certain case 7 years ago. I'm just checking everything at this point. The story can... Oh, I hate his teeth. Leverage's story, gets his interview. There's nothing weird happening. Could anything in his pocket move? Thrilling gameplay! anything in his pocket can move? Say what you will, but was just press, keep pressing. On one hand, we have your story, and on the other hand, this letter. What makes you think the two are related? Oh, I was just saying it's possible. Call it reporter's intuition, end quote. Hey, I say a lot of things. You gonna pick all of them apart? Be my guest. All of them? No, just the incredibly suspicious ones. Anything else to add about Mr. Misham? I can't find anything to perceive. This... I'm worried about just full out saying forgery, because I feel like it's a step ahead. Okay, I've spent enough time on this, I'm just gonna guide it. Just because I don't like wasting time. Oh, yeah. What? I would not have picked that up. Ew! Oh, I hate that. He's... Oh, I'm glad I didn't notice that. I'm actively happy. Sweat much, Mr. Bushel? Yeah, well, a man can't help his glands, you know. It's more than that. Mr. Misham's talent was mentioned. You suddenly began to sweat buckets. You're hiding something about his talent. What? Ridiculous! Evidence time. Let's show where Mr. Misham's true talents lay. I have evidence showing the talent mentioned in that letter. So it's either the hidden painting or this. Let's do this one. This one seems more relevant. I can't help but wonder what the court is supposed to do to conclude from this evidence. And that you've made a horrible mistake. Man burned bridges begets to cross. Okay. Evidence, that's not the end. Show the talent mentioned in that letter. It says forgery. So if it's not one of those, it's probably this. This painting was found in Mr. Misham's studio. There are two problems with this painting. The first is it wasn't painted by Mr. Misham. The second is that there was another painting in the studio, which looked exactly like this one, except it was only half done. Then we have a letter discussing a payment of $100,000, which suggests a certain business operation. The business of making forgeries. Oh! That is all, Your Honor.
Everyone, please, everyone, can we keep this private? Please? This is my story, my scoop.
Forgery. That is a serious crime.
Drew Misham is known as an artist these days. But There were rumors he dabbled in other kinds of art until a few years back.
Another art? Meaning forgery?
Drew Misham was talented, all right. Talented at making precise, detailed fakes. A fact that certain criminal elements were quick to discover.
Criminal elements? What? You can't seriously be talking about...
Exactly. I'm talking about forging evidence. The rumors started circulating 7 years ago.
7 years ago? So, are we to understand that this letter, this payment of 100,000 was for...
Exactly. Forged evidence needs tidy profit. End quote.
Hold on. Why, it's like our victim was living a double life.
Aha! This is my chance. So the victim had ties to the criminal world, right? He could have had plenty of enemies we know nothing about. This is my first time hearing of this criminal world. We certainly found no criminal connections when we conducted our investigation. But how do you explain all this money? And you have to admit there's a possibility of some illegal activity here. But there was no proof tying this letter to our case. Our case was, and remains, simple from the beginning. Only the defendant could have poisoned that mug. And you, of course.
Hey! The only thing I poison is my pen when I'm writing reviews.
Mr. Bushell, your testimony to this point has been quite unreliable. It doesn't speak well of your reporting acumen.
What are you talking about? My journalism is rock solid. Journalism so solid, you can stand an elephant on it. End quote.
In any case, let's hear a summarized recap of your testimony. If we can ascertain the situation in that studio from the recap, the trial is over.
Apollo, what's he talking about? The cross-examination showed Mr. Bushell didn't have reason or means to poison him. As long as there's no other suspects, then the killer had to be Vera. That's what. The next testimony is our last chance.
Mr. Bushell, your testimony, please.
The only other person in the studio that night was the defendant. It was Vera who poured the coffee. She admitted as much herself. The only thing that touched Drew's lips during the interview was that mug, aside from his licking portrait. And nothing left that studio after he died. Nothing! Clearly, the only one who could have poisoned him was his daughter.
A nice testimony. Clear, succinct, and without room for doubt.
Aw, shucks. You really think so?
I believe that clarifies the situation that night. Very well, Mr. Justice, you may begin your final cross-examination.
Right. I still have one trump card left to play, and I won't let this trial end until I use it. What have I not used? None of this is relevant. I've used you. You don't seem relevant. Yeah, you're the only thing I haven't used is the tiny frame. The only tonight was the defendant. That's true. It was Vero who poured the coffee. She admitted as such herself. That's true. The only thing that touched Darrow's lips during the interview was that mug. I'll maybe press that. And nothing left the studio after he died. That's true. Let's press that. You're sure about that?
Well, to be really, really precise, I was busy gobbling mint candies the whole time.
One of those candies might have been poisoned. Yet at the time of the autopsy, no fresh fragrance of mint filled the room, and no mint residue was found. It was a long shot anyway. Don't tell me you're still trying to prove this. You think the victim ate, drank, or otherwise ingested something other than coffee?
Oh, well, Mr. Justice, if you have some proof.
The possibility is there. I can feel it. Just maybe not prove it, not yet. So I'm going to cut it, not now. I can prove it. Proof. It's possible. I gotta risk it.
Oh, excellent. Let's see your proof then. Please show us your evidence. What evidence shows that the victim wasn't poisoned via a coffee mug?
Tiny flame. Bow.
Must I explain this over and over and over? We don't need possibilities here, Forehead. We need proof.
I know that.
You should also know that every proof has its moment. Perhaps you're a bit early? I can tell you what we know at this point. The victim put nothing in his mouth but the coffee mug.
Another hole in the case that needs plunging before I can prove anything. But first things first, I better uncover a weak spot before I try strike again. Okay, I like that it didn't penalize me, because I know I'm on the right track. Okay, press that. Not one thing, you're sure? Yep, sure as can be. Well, with one exception.
What exception? What?
Journalistic Spark Bushel does interview. Leave studio. End quote. Come on. It's a joke. Get it? Not funny? I know, but still. Did something leave the studio that night? Why does that sound familiar? Where have I heard something like that before?
Now that we've proven our witness is a comedian of sorts, I'd like to turn to our defense attorney before returning to testimony. Do you have any idea what, if anything, might have left the studio that night?
Sure. Just one thing might have very well left the studio that night, actually. A certain something that has vanished from the crime scene.
By which you mean
Something
other than the witness?
Of course. Don't tell me Vera Misham. Believe me, any comic relief may provide is entirely unintentional.
Then let's see what you've got for us, Mr. Justice.
Well, this thing wasn't at the scene of the crime, so I can't show it to you. But I do have evidence that shows that it could have been taken from the scene. I guess a tiny frame because it's empty. I find Prosecutor Gavin more amusing than this guy, really.
If that was comic relief, why do I feel not amused? We want evidence, not into...
Aw. I guess, ooh, the letterbox. Maybe the letter was taken. This is the only link between that studio and the outside world.
A letterbox?
What did Mr. Bushel just tell us? When he entered the studio on the night of the murder, the victim had just finished writing a letter.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah, it was true.
Furthermore, you went on to tell us that he put the letter in a yellow envelope and put it in the letterbox.
Oh!
But that very same letterbox was empty. In other words, that night, the yellow envelope disappeared. Ah, yes, intriguing. So an envelope was disappeared from the scene of the crime. Of course, this changes nothing. Huh?
He has a point, Mr. Justice. What we're trying to figure out here is how the poison got into Mr. Misham. Is it really important that the envelope the witness says he saw disappeared?
Well, if it did disappear, then something did leave the studio that night. That seems very important to me.
Very well then, the witness will add this to his testimony.
You got it.
I still think this fails to change anything of Forehead. I wouldn't be so sure. The letter disappeared from the crime scene that night. That's exactly the opening I've been looking for. Oh, he maybe licked the envelope. Let's press. Just to be safe. Nothing could be more serious than an envelope disappearing from that studio. And you are hiding that fact from us.
Yes, well, actually,
I don't argue the possibility that a letter disappeared from the studio. But, Forehead, isn't there a much more serious question for us? Right, how Mission was poisoned, I know. But Mr. Bushell's testimony has changed, which means the facts of the case have too. And what he told us means something entirely different now. I'm starting to think. Let's keep thinking, Apollo. Where's the mug? Okay, let's press this now. You sure about that?
well, nah,
Yeah, I already read this. Might have been poisoned. I know that if I'm jumping the gun, though, I can't get penalized. Just did poison via a route other than coffee. I can prove it. Proof is possible. Here goes nothing. You don't understand what we need, yeah? Proof, Forehead, not possibilities. Do you understand? I'm ready to give you that proof. What did you say? I have proof of the disappearing envelope.
and I saw him writing a letter, I did.
Which was picked up by the mailman, I assume. Of course, which means that envelope had a stamp on it. A stamp? Oh! As we all know, stamps come with dried glue on the back. In order to use the glue, you have to wet it by licking the stamp. No one worth talking to actually licks stamps in this day and age. Even if you wanted to talk to him, you couldn't. He's dead after all. Okay, so we licked the stamp. But wait! How does that explain this Aqua 9 on the rim of the coffee mug? If he licked the back of the poison stamp, the poison would get on his tongue, yes? That would what would then happen if he put the coffee mug to his mouth, huh? Those traces on the mug weren't the killer's doing. It was the other way around. What? The coffee mug didn't poison Mr. Misham. Mr. Misham poisoned the coffee mug himself. Order, order, order! But that doesn't... does it? Bacal, if you would. A Quattro 9 is a slow-acting poison, yes? The poison entered his body when he put the stamp on that envelope. But his time wasn't up until the very moment he touched his lips to that cup of joe. You have something to add, Mr. Bushell? Uh-oh, his nose is picking up another scent.
As I believe I mentioned earlier... Well, that's the thing, see, after he put his letter in the envelope, Mr. Misham sat there searching his desk drawer for something. Yes, a stamp. A so-called postage stamp, end quote. But you know, I don't seem to remember ever finding one.
Maybe he just run out.
Incidentally, we searched the desk drawer at the scene of the crime. There were no stamps, not a single one.
Oh, that does pose a problem. How will you prove that the stamp was coated with poison?
Actually, I'm glad no other stamps were found. It makes proving the stamp he used was poison possible. Good show, good show. You can't even prove there was a stamp at the scene in the first place.
Well, let's hear what the defense has to say anyway.
Where's your evidence that proves the existence of this poisoned stamp? The poisoned tiny frame.
Well, that certainly is a cute little frame, and by little, I mean really little.
It was on the victim's desk, Your Honor. Quite empty, as you can see for yourself.
I noticed that too during my inspection. So what?
Apparently, you weren't as observant as you should have been. You see, when you saw this frame, it was missing something quite important.
Missing? Something?
Yes, a pale bluish stain on the inside of the frame. A Quattro 9 residue. What? Why wasn't I told about this? The frame is only 2 inches square. The face of the frame is even smaller. Maybe an inch wide at most.
You aren't saying.
Oh, but I am. Tell me, what fits in such a small frame? A commemorative stamp, perhaps?
Order! 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 The poison stamp was in this frame?
Impossible!
But Prosecutor Gavin,
why would he put something like that on his desk? Don't tell me he had it there so he could commit suicide if the mood struck.
You know, can I say something? I had a thought, see?
What, Mr. Bushel? Please stop chitting around like that.
The victim was a forger, right? There's a lot of money in that line of work. A forger forges friends, makes enemies too! End quote.
So the poison stamp might have been the murder weapon aimed at him. Oh, rich. That's rich. Leave the ridiculous flights of fancy to the Gavinier song lyrics, please. Finally something we agree on. The stamp was a murder weapon. Nonsense. Murder is a simple business. Who would go to such lengths? No one. Oh, I disagree. Come again?
He disagrees with me.
Recall, if you would, the victim's reclusive lifestyle. Drew Misham hid from the world. He avoided meetings. His only contact with the outside world was the mail.
The mail?
Now, if you wanted to kill someone you couldn't meet, but you knew red letters, a stamp would be the perfect weapon.
Ridiculous. Where's your proof? I want proof. Show us evidence that this poison stamp was sent to him as a murder weapon.
I might not have evidence per se, but things are finally starting to come together. Well, what is it, Apollo? Your fists are trembling. I think I know what happened. I don't believe it, but I can see it. I think I know how Mr. Misham was killed.
Well, fill us in, Mr. Justice.
A certain piece of evidence points to the truth, Your Honor. I can show you evidence. I can show you how someone with intent to kill sent Mr. Misham the stamp of death. I have no idea. With the enclosed stamp. Present.
Isn't this the envelope, the one from 7 years ago?
Think about it. Think about the text of the letter again. There were 2 pages in the envelope. This is 1 page. And this is page 2. I want to draw your attention to one phrase in particular. Send in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. The enclosed stamp, Your Honor.
Oh!
In other words, if I have this straight, the stamp, poison on the stamp, lick, lick, gasp, end quote.
Now, what if he had done exactly as the letter asked? He would sign the document, put it in the envelope, and put the stamp on it, right? Then he would put it in his letterbox. 15 minutes wouldn't have elapsed between affixing the stamp. Wouldn't have elapsed between affixing the stamp and mailing the letter. But the clock started ticking, and when the time came, he drew his last breath. and the murder weapon could be taken away from the scene.
Quite conveniently, thanks to the postal system.
Such a splendid imagination you have, Forehead. Let me confirm one thing with you, if I might. So, this poison stamp was inside this envelope from 7 years ago, right? Is that what you'd have us believe, really? Well, it is a little bit of a stretch, but there's a possibility. Yes, a very small possibility. How small, I wonder? A poison stamp in this envelope? A stamp that then became the murder weapon? How do you intend to prove this seeming coincidence? Well, it was 7 years ago. We don't even know who sent that letter. And your answer is silence. I see, very well. I move to... It's not nice to pick on the Fräulein, Clavier. Oh, hello.
Emma!
Well, like my Christoph Gavin impression? Did I sound like him?
Don't quit your day job.
Don't you have a crime scene to be looking after, Fräulein Detective? Someone had to come dig you out of all the mess you're making of this case. Mess? You know, none of this would have happened if you just trusted in science a little more. You can find out if the stamp was in that envelope easy. Care to explain yourself, Fräulein Detective? Blurt me all you want, but science is on my side. It's all the residue, right?
That's right, the poison detection spray.
Produce that envelope at once! You can open it up on the authority of the court.
Oh, hello.
Well, would you look at that?
No mistaking it. That's a Quattro 9 residue.
I don't believe it! A murder weapon from the past. Now, 7 years later, it bears its fangs at last. Absolutely outrageous. Tell me why. Why didn't this murder take place 7 years ago?
Well, there's one possibility. Maybe Misham figured it out.
Figured what out?
He realized that the person who sent the letter wanted him dead. So he sent his reply with a different stamp.
It put his decisive evidence in a frame? Ugh, you're still here. Ugh.
Can I make a statement here? On the record. I, Spark Razor Toothbrushel, yes, that is my real middle name, claim this scoop as mine! Drew Misham killed in cold blood by sender of 7-year-old letter, end quote. No, maybe something more succinct. Star falls after 7 years delay, end quote.
Order. I see no room for further argument here. Though I admit this is all coming as quite a shock. To think that the murder weapon reached his mouth after 7 years. Stamp his ticket straight to afterlife, end quote.
Uh-oh. Think the witness is a bad influence on our judge.
I see no need for further debate on this matter. The sender of that letter 7 years ago could hardly have been our defendant.
Apollo, I think we just won.
Very well. This court finds the defendant.
I was so close. You dreamy, dreamy bastard. I was so close. Is this the bright future of our legal system?
The prosecutor, Gavin?
A ticket to the afterlife from 7 years ago. Ticket for Gavin shows are invalid after 2 weeks.
But it doesn't make sense any other way.
It boggles my mind that so many people haven't noticed this. There's a fatal contradiction in our Forehead's claim. A contradiction? The poison stamp was placed in this envelope 7 years ago, whereupon it was framed until now. If that's the case,
Then why would Drew Misham have done what he did?
Emma explained that. He must have realized it was poisoned.
Therein lies the rub. 7 years ago, the forger Drew Misham sensed a trap and put the stamp in a frame. I do not debate this, but this begs the question. Why 7 years later did he use the stamp on the night of the murder? Surely you don't mean to suggest Mr. Misham simply forgot. He put the murder weapon in a frame on his desk for 7 years and forgot? You expect us to believe he sprang the trap on himself? Well, I admit, this is all quite shocking myself. It does seem quite highly unlikely that he would fall afoul of a trap that had been sitting on his desk for 7 years.
Apollo, I don't think we're winning anymore.
I'm glad you see we're all back in the real world now. Welcome back to reality. I've been waiting for you.
Okay, then how do you explain the poison stamp that was in the envelope?
The poison stamp? Where exactly is the poison stamp again? Have you brought it to the court for us? I see no proof that such a thing ever existed.
What about the Aquatronine residue, huh?
Oh, I agree, that does seem to be a Aquatronine residue. But a forehead, it's certainly no stamp.
Yeah, but...
Even if your precious poison stamp did exist, Drew Misham never would have used it. That is all.
Ugh.
I believe we've come to a conclusion. Again.
Apollo, were we wrong the whole time? I can't believe it. The poison traces match up. It can't be coincidence.
I'd like to bring some closure to this issue sometime this year, Mr. Justice.
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's review the facts and see where we stand. 7 years ago, Drew Misham received a red envelope. There were traces of poison Aquatronine on the document inside the envelope. A similar trace was also found at the crime scene. On this tiny picture frame, the defense has indicated on the possibility of a yellow envelope. An envelope that left the scene of the crime with the poison stamp on it. Yes, but even if this envelope contained a poison stamp, and Drew Misham, knowing this, put it in a frame, he never would have used that stamp. I'm afraid you're right, which means that there is a fatal flaw in the defense's case.
I haven't been on the wrong track this whole time, I'm sure of it. The traces of Aquatronine, the envelope, the frame, and Drew Misham's mysterious death. They're all connected somehow.
Well, Mr. Justice, do you have a conclusion for us?
The defense stands by its case, Your Honor. We've seen that the logical outcome of the evidence makes no sense, which means one of the other clues must be fake.
A fake clue? Fascinating. If we find this fake, your wild fantasies will be proven reasonable, yeah?
The fake clue that's thrown off is Poison Trail. It's not Drew Misham. That seems a little odd. The red, I think the red envelope, because I think the whole 7 years thing is misleading. What I think right now is that it didn't have 2 pages originally. I think it had 1 page, it was opened up, the second page was shoved in and resealed.
This red envelope is a fake?
Without a doubt, Your Honor. Wasn't it you who presented this evidence to the court? Oh. Hold on a second, Apollo. This poison on that envelope, the frame and the case mug, they're all connected somehow. Oh, right. Ugh, I can hear it already. Fake was you or forehead.
Okay, I'm glad I don't lose the frame.
This frame is the fake clue?
Without a doubt, Your Honor. Wasn't you who presented this evidence to the court? Oh, hold on a sec. Wait, how is he fake evidence? Well, I'm glad there's no penalty for messing this up.
The victim was a fake clue? I'm afraid I don't understand.
Now, I'll explain. We have an envelope, a frame, and a mug linked by poison. That all makes sense. What doesn't make sense is the victim himself. Congratulations, you've completely lost me. Including me, I'm also confused. So the fake evidence is none other than the master of fake himself, the forger? It makes a good story, I'll give you that. The fake clue, fakes, forgeries. Ah! I know that face, that's the I just had an idea face. I don't know if I'm right, but I'm going with it anyway. What if our forger is the fake? Come again? 7 years ago, our forger sniffed a trap and then stepped aside. 7 years passed. Now the forger stumbles into the very same trap and dies. Why?
That's what I want to know.
Because the forger who was killed was a fake. Here we are again. The victim was a fake? One forger smelled the trap. One forger fell into the trap. That's 2 forgers, and one of them was a fake. I am so... He had a body double? What are we talking about? Order, order, order. So you are telling us that Drew Misham, the victim, was a fake? Well, if he was a fake, who was the real forger? You'd better not be claiming there was some kind of switcheroo.
I'm afraid you're going to have to back up your story. I suggest show us just who the real Dr. Drew Misham was.
If Drew Misham wasn't the real forger, there's only one other person it could have been. Understood, Your Honor. Forger Drew Misham himself was a forgery. The real forger was... what? Okay, I have no idea. I mean, so, it's not Gavin, that's stupid. He wasn't impersonating himself. Wait. Accused of poisoning her father. Is she not actually Vera? Is the reason she's so quiet? Is Vera not Vera? I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna try it, why not? There can only be one explanation, really. The real identity of the forger known as Drew Misham is none other than his only daughter, Vera Misham.
Order, order, order! Mr. Justice, this is going out on a limb, even for you.
I kinda agree. I mean, Vera, a forger? Let's consider it before you write it off entirely. If you look at the paintings in the studio, one fact becomes quite clear. Forgery had been taking place in that studio for quite some time. The forger wasn't caught in the trap 7 years ago. This can only mean that the one who was caught in the trap wasn't the forger.
Well, actually, that does make a certain kind of sense.
One more thing. Only 2 sets of fingerprints were found in the forger's studio. Drew Misham's and Vera Misham's. If we know that Drew Misham wasn't the forger, that leaves only one possibility by process of elimination. The forger was Vera Misham. Well, I'm still a little confused. So, no one was pretending to be the other, but she was the forger and she received the letter? And so the old guy didn't know? Fascinating. I'm still so confused.
Farewell, Mission. You've been paying attention to the trial so far.
Let's just ask her and be done with it, shall we? Who are you? Who is the forger? Drew Misham. Was that an expression of emotion I just saw on her face? She's staring holes into Prosecutor Gavin's face. I'm used to being stared at by Fräuleins, believe me. Though they usually talk to me, too. Tell us, were you the one who forged those works of art? Yes.
So the forger Drew Misham was you?
Yes. It was me. Oh, it's a crying face.
What? What?
The court was in an uproar, and it wasn't coming down. We had to break for a 10-minute recess. Oh, we're still doing the save progress. Okay, I'm gonna go take a quick break because I am tired.
Hello, I have returned. Ba-ba-bow. Okay. Yeah, but you know what? I'm fine with this being a long one because case 4 is big, from what I understand. Yeah, next chapter. Fucking do it.
Okay. So where exactly does this leave us, Apollo?
Excuse me. Well, the Jumisham, who was killed, wasn't Jumisham the Forger, basically.
Huh? Well, then who was he?
Well, he was actually
Doing her nails?
So, you really made those forgeries?
Yes. For father. I know. It was wrong. Could you tell us how it happened? My father was a painter. I loved painting ever since I was a child. One day, father saw it in me. He saw that I had the talent. The talent? For making forgeries? How should I say it? It was not only painting I made. Given the materials, I could make anything. Anything? Father was so proud, and I so happy. But in the end, I was making those forgeries. I've never had a good constitution, nor personality. I know very little of the world outside my door. Now, because of me, Father is... Do you know about this red envelope? I remember that envelope. It was some time ago.
So you were already, you were already creating your works back then?
I started when I was only 12 years old.
So the one who figured out the stamp was poisoned, that was...
Master Downstairs, it's time. To the courtroom, please.
Right, not a time. Wait, Vera, just one more thing, please. Those 3 paintings in the studio. I painted those as part of my work. Right, see, we checked them out and we saw what was underneath. We saw the rough sketches underneath the 3 finished paintings. I see. Mr. Justice?
Yes?
Father, he knew of you. Both of you. Your late father? He was watching, gathering information. All about Wright & Co. law offices.
But lately, we're not doing just law.
Yes, you do tricks, gags to amuse, and play piano?
Well, they're not really gags.
Yet, when Father heard you had resumed the legal business, how pleased he was.
Who was Mr. Misham? How am I supposed to know? What if he was Daddy's daddy?
Judging from the relative ages involved, I'd say it's highly unlikely. Oh, let's check it out. You know, why not? We have the power. He's 30, and he's 52. So, I mean, he would have had to have been 19. When, I mean, it's possible to have a kid at 19. Things are already confusing enough with all these daddies running around. We know the victim's daughter, Vera, was the forger. What does this mean for the case? Guess we're about to find out.
I guess she's the next one I'm cross-examining.
Court is now back in session.
She's nervous. Biting her thumb.
Vera seems pretty tense. She's practically chewing her fingernails clean off.
Perhaps you could begin by telling us how it all worked. How did you set up this Drew Misham Forger persona?
There's that stare again.
She's drilling more holes into his head.
I know it's hard for you, but hey, he's a handsome guy.
What's hard? I'm not. What? Very well, miss, if you would. Do you really make those detestable forgeries? Perhaps you'd rather answer my question. Were you the one who painted that painting? The remarkably similar one.
Yes. I painted it, yes. Father praised me quite highly for it.
So, she was the one who made the forgeries.
Yet she did not wish to reveal the truth of their operation, so the victim was a stand-in, a decoy. To the world at large, he was the forger, not her. I've done a bad thing. I have, haven't I?
Regardless, you need a little more information. About, for instance, this. You have seen this before, yeah?
Yes. It was in the desk drawer.
Very well, you may proceed with your testimony. Tell us everything you know about this envelope.
I created things and Father sold them. This envelope came after my first work. That was other than a painting. Father handled the deal. All of it. I received the stamp that was in that envelope. It was after that job that we moved to the current studio.
Oh, that certainly was much great. That certainly was much of great interest in your testimony.
Not that the witness realizes it.
Very well, please begin the cross-examination.
Right, okay. I need more information about this forger. This Drew Misham.
Father sold them. That's vague. Let's press it.
By other than painting, you mean you'd only done paintings up to that point? Yes. But Father had a realization. He noticed my talent extended to making things other than paintings. For instance, a letter someone had written, or a fingerprint left upon a cup, or a signature on a document, a seal upon a letter.
None of this makes her sound very innocent at all. And the 100,000 promised in the letter was the start. The beginning of a new industry for Drew Misham. A new industry? The creation of items to be used in criminal proceedings. Forging evidence, in other words. Uh-oh. Let's press that. That's important.
What do you mean you received it? Did I do something wrong?
You didn't use that stamp because it was dangerous, correct? Deadly poison on the back. Actro 9? A moment, forehead. Dude, what the fuck? You're accusing your own client. You can't force an answer upon the witness. Now then, perhaps you would tell me, Fräulein Vera, why did you receive this stamp? Is something wrong?
It was beautiful.
Oh, you mean it was one of those commemorative stamps?
Yes, I think it was.
So, you didn't know about the poison?
guess not.
So the trap failed by chance, by mistake, thanks to this commemorative stamp.
Oh, quite the close call.
Press that.
You mean you moved to where the current Drew studio is?
Yes, we saw very few people there. I began drawing picture books.
The signal job had tied them to the criminal underworld. I'd think Mr. Misham was to reduce their visibility in the world at large.
When we had to meet someone for some reason, Father posed as the creator of the work.
So that was the real essence of the artist Drew Misham. You did the work and he supplied the face. The red envelope came after she completed her first job. That makes a letter from her client whoever wanted a forgery made. Apollo! We're close. We just have to piece together the parts. A deadly weapon in a red envelope, and the path it took to take Drew Misham's life.
Okay, that makes it a letter.
So the red envelope still.
Receive that stamp.
I'm just gonna press everything. Just to be safe. So you didn't know how things were making... You didn't know how the things you were making were being used?
I enjoy painting very much.
I think I understand. The Fräulein has lived in an unusual little world.
Can you tell us what happened to the papers that were in this envelope?
Father signed them and sent them back, I believe.
Did he follow the instructions? Send in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp?
This is a rather important matter. Give your answer some thought.
I have no idea. Let's press this to be safe. So you didn't know how the things you were making were being used. Oh, I already did this. Press the first thing, why not? You were making a... You mean paintings identical to other paintings, right?
The closer they were, the happier Father was. I was happy, too.
Still, you're quite young now. When did you begin this work?
My first painting sold when I was 12.
Your Honor, she had no idea what she was doing was illegal.
Easy there, little attorney. You're not here to defend her for the crime of forgery.
Oh, true. Please tell us more about the envelope. So, you really didn't know anything, did you? You had no idea how much danger you were in.
Okay, so I was just supposed to press everything, okay.
Apparently not.
About this commemorative stamp. Could you tell us more about it?
It was very pretty, and more than that.
Yes?
It was a picture of people I liked at the time.
This is something new.
Apparently, we've got some cross-examination yet ahead of us. If you would be so kind as to continue your testimony, Fräulein. She's happy to. Oh, press. I'll read that. The stamp has a picture of my favorite magicians, so I kept it. Magicians? I love mysterious things. I always have. Even though she fainted when she saw Mr. Hat? You're confusing mysterious with freaky. Father took me when I was very young. It was a great magic show. I loved it so much. I think it was 7 years ago. See? Isn't magic great? Fine, great, yeah, sure. No need to get all excited. But the magic troupe we saw disbanded soon after. It was quite sad. Did she just say what I think she said? Magic troupe. There's only one magic troupe in all of Japan, America. The red envelope came after she completed her first job. That makes it a letter from a client, whoever wanted a forgery made. Apollo. We're close. We just have to piece together the parts. A deadly weapon in a red envelope. And the path it took to take Drew Misham's life. I received the stamp that was in the envelope. Do I just present, like, the magic show ticket? Because it's the Grammys? Why not? Fuck it. Those magicians you liked. Was it this bunch? Hey, I was right. Apollo, they're not a bunch.
Oh, I see. Still, I have to wonder. Why include a commemorative stamp like that in a business letter?
Good question. Well, pretty stamps are always better, and you can't beat Troop Grammary.
But the whole motor plan was a failure because of it. Ironic, don't you think? Prosecutor Gavin? Prosecutor Gavin?
Grammary? What's with Gavin?
Might I ask just one question of the witness? In your testimony just now, you stated this was your first work that was other than a painting? Please tell me, what exactly did you make?
Can I ask why?
No! Answer the question! Now! Prosecutor Gavin! You're usually not the one who volume concerns me. Yes, it is unbecoming of me. I apologize. But I must know. Please, Miss Misham, tell me.
It was a book. A single page. In a book.
A book? Please be more specific.
It was a handwritten book. Like a diary.
No! I don't know.
What's wrong with Prosecutor Gavin? He looks like he just saw a ghost.
Miss Measham, this book. Was there a picture of a silk hat on the back cover? Yes or no?
How did you know?
Prosecutor Gavin, the defendant is answering all of your questions. Stop badgering her. Be nice. Be nice to her. He's told you nothing, has he? Your soiled, sullied mentor. Nothing?
Sullied? Who? Phoenix Wright. Who else? Daddy? He never told you about the trial 7 years ago? About how he came to lose his attorney's badge? It was a certain piece of evidence that decided his fate, you know. A certain diary. On the back, it bore the mark of a silk hat. What? Phoenix Wright? Tossed out of the profession by false evidence? And the forger who made that evidence? Is this girl standing right in front of me? Vera, you must tell us. The evidence you made was used in a trial 7 years ago. Who asked Drew Misham? Who asked Drew Misham, you, to forge that evidence? For all of our sakes, who was it? We only met once. You met the client? Well, who was it? It was... What's going on, Vera? She's staring at Prosecutor Gavin's face again. Yes, what? Is there something about me? I remember clearly. I remember who gave me the book. The diary. Who was it? Vera! The devil. Oh no. I hope she's not dead. I like her. Defendant Vera Misha. Condition unconscious. Examiner's diagnosis. Acute acrotronin poisoning. Actronine. This ends the recording of the trial for the murder of Drew Misham. Vera Misham was, during the trial, poisoned by an unknown assailant. The doses were just under the lethal amount, sparing the defendant's life. She is currently in intensive care and is not to be disturbed for any reason. A very simple case at first glance, until it finally began to show its true colors. The long road to the truth takes us to the record of another trial. In some ways, that was the starting point of it all. My God! I have not seen that portrait. I love that. And that is where we must go. It's a little baby Trucy to find the whole truth. To be continued. Oh man, that's where I'd love to end. Is Chula streaming yet? Hey, Chula just started streaming. Good fucking timing. Nope, don't play that over the speakers. All right. Okay. Slash raid. I gotta capitalize the chew. Well, the C. Not the whole I can't capitalize the whole true, just the ch. F. M. Yes. I'm so good at typing, guys. Alright, good stream, people. Peace, peace.